The squirrel was magic! Beware your human heart. This is the Diabolical Index for Monday, March 26th, 2018, where the pages of the uncanny reside. This is a non-entry episode, number 4, I believe. So we're creeping up on double digits, which is always a lot of fun. I can't remember the last time I was creeping up on double digits. I was probably in the womb. I have no idea. But a couple things to mention. Thank you to everyone who contributed and donated to the Indiegogo account for the Cinematic Reality Studio 605's new opus coming out soon. I have no idea what the timetable on that is, but Brandon and the gang are totally pumped to have their coffers full and ready to go for the Indie Horror King's new foray into thrillers. It'll be there, as far as I know. It'll be the first slasher they do without the benefit of a mask. So we'll see what the normal face of humans look like when they're doing their dirty deeds. And also, the GoFundMe for the new theme song from Roy's Good Looks for Pointless Discussions. They made their quote on that and then some. So they're able to get a new laptop, and that'll be wonderful for them. It'll just mean more great content. We've actually had a lot of people letting us know that there's more content to come, so keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's going to show up next, but that's very important. Also, coming down to the wire, almost forgot to mention it this month, but one of the first books that I covered on the Diabolical Index, Porcelain by Nate Southard, that's come out this month at Lethe Press. Is that it? Lethe? Leth? I'm not sure. Lethe press.com. So go check that out. Believe me, it'll keep you up at night. Especially not so much for the scary parts either. It'll be the stuff that you recognize in your own lives and remember from your own nightmares. So that's something that's important to check out. Also, tonight, brand new from the Deranged Minds Entertainment, Destiny and Tristan have another one for you. They put out Red Eye at the Midwest Horror Fest last year. It may have been other places too first. I'm not so sure if it was the debut or not, but it shocked everyone, and it made a definite impression. It was on all kinds of, I think it was on Amazon, Hulu, I think, maybe, I'm not sure about that one, but it was all over the place, and it was very divisive. There were a lot of people for it, a lot of people against it. It made a lot of buzz, a lot of controversy, but they're at it again. Their Indiegogo for their new feature, Inverted, started tonight. And so they've got some, I think their live cast just ended, or they might be midway through it now, but go to Deranged Minds Entertainment or just put Inverted, that Inverted movie. That will probably get you somewhere that you need to go. But check them out because they're new on the scene and they're totally knocking hats off everywhere they go. So check that out. Anything else I should mention? Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, so... Oh, yeah, there are other things to mention. The Births and Deaths, literary history. Definitely. There are some biggies this time. I'm actually kind of surprised that I missed this one last week, but John Fowles, the author of the Magus, I think he came with the Magus when he was teaching on a Greek island. I think that he might be a professor, or he was a professor. He's no longer with us now, but he wrote the Magus, and it kind of was latched onto by the hippie culture, mostly because the island was kind of a psychedelic place where the bounds of literary reality, normal reality, all kinds of taboos were broken, and that made that book a bestseller and kind of launched him as a man of letters. But almost everything that he's done came out in movie form at one time or another. I don't know if it's because of just kind of like his celebrity at the time, or whether or not of the astounding quality of his stuff. One of my very, very favorite things he wrote was called The Collector, and it starred, when it came out as a movie, it starred Terrence Stamp, and it's totally chilling because, it's difficult to tell. It's one of those things where the protagonist is actually the villain, so you see it from his point of view as he narrates his descent into madness, but it turns out that he's kind of a nerd and kind of a outcast, and not physically powerful, but somehow he manages to collect a few things. Actually, he collects on a lottery, like pool, that he wins at work, and then once he's got money in hand, he uses the gains that he gets from that to ensnare and collect a person. Actually, a young woman that goes to an art college near his home, and he kind of has these, I don't know, these opinions about how everyone thinks they're so high and mighty, and now that he's kind of like the nouveau riche and he's grown to this height, he's going to take him down a peg or two, and mostly by collecting someone that he thinks that he couldn't have gotten in his former life. And actually it kind of goes back to his love of the collecting of butterflies, rare butterflies and moths that he pegs to his table. And it's totally chilling. I totally recommend the book. I doubt that they would make the movie now. I would kind of like to see it switched up. I mean, I guess Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs is another one kind of like that, where he would collect for his little fetishes, and so does the character in The Collector. But I would kind of like to see them switch it up and have it be a female in the collector role. I think that would be interesting. But he also wrote The French Lieutenant's Woman, and became a movie, I believe, with Meryl Streep. So John Fowles was definitely up there for the books to movies, mostly because of his celebrity, but they were fantastic. I definitely recommend each and every one of them. There's one called A Maggot, which kind of sheds light on the class system, things like that, and it's just wonderful stuff. So John Fowles, born in this month. And last but not least, one of my big favorites, and I was telling Andrew that I almost missed it. Somehow I missed it last week, and I almost missed it for the month. But Jules Verne died this month. And if you don't know who Jules Verne is, then I can say nothing but shame on you, really. He's one of the most well-known, beloved fantasists of all time. He's one of those short number that predicted so many things, and it's one of those things where prediction, innovation, production, imagination, like, it's difficult to tell what came first, the chicken or the egg. Did Jules Verne imagine this and then it came to be? Was someone thinking about it before he put it into words, or were they inspired by his work and ended up inspired to the point where they ended up innovating and creating these new things? But Jules Verne, almost countless, from the Earth to the Moon, around the world in 80 days, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I mean, there are so many great things that he had done, and Flights of Fancy. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about it, From the Earth to the Moon, but it's fantastic. I mean, I love a lot of works where, you look at things and it would be almost silly now to think of it that way, but you kind of think of it from the sensibility of the time period he's coming from, the 1800s, and instead of having a rocket like launched from a pad, it ends up being a giant cannon that shoots the capsule to the moon. And of course the interior of the moon is inhabited, and I think they're called the Selenites, set upon the capsule. And I believe, actually, I can't remember if it was the movie as well or just the book, but I believe that the capsule has some sort of generating power, or like has like a gravity reversing drive, where it ends up floating on its own power. Maybe some sort of metal that he discovers, but it's fantastic. I mean, everything I just said, it just ought to let you know that it's just complete imaginative flights of fancy, but also, on the same time, I mean, it doesn't fly too far, because a lot of things that show up in the books ended up happening soon after, or even during. I've heard a lot of kind of Vernists from the time. They would read his things and then instantly start trying to make them, come to fruition. So it's hard to say which came first with that sort of thing. But I mean, so many things I mentioned about Jules Verne, but I'll try to keep it short. But it's just fantastic. Everything that he wrote was wonderful. They kind of touched on and kind of bastardized, really, some of the things from Jules Verne's works in A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the Alan Moore work, where Captain Nemo shows up. And there were a lot of things I liked about that rendition of him. And there are also sequels to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or prequels, or I guess you could say almost like I hate to say it. I hate the term shared universe, but The Mysterious Island was one where Captain Nemo is revisited. But if you haven't read Jules Verne, you should. And forever. Children, grandchildren, tell everyone. So, to me especially, it was a shame that Jules Verne died this month. So, it's not like it was yesterday. It was hundreds of years ago, but still remembered, still revered, probably will be for all time. So, Jules Verne died in March. So there you go, births and deaths this week. And oh yeah, he points out my new stickers, wonderfully exhibited here. It was totally his idea. I don't plug myself this way, but yeah, they are here, big old stacks of them. So anyone who wants one, just let me know. I'll send it out, or stop by the shop and pick some up, and however many you want, you can have. Plaster them everywhere. I think they turned out really nice, so there they are, and have at them. But okay, so on to the work at hand. Choose Your Own Adventure number 137, as picked by the crowd, Mob Justice. It was kind of not necessarily a landslide, but I don't know. I think it was 8 for this out of a possible 13, something like that. So it was an overwhelming majority, but it wasn't a landslide. There were a couple here and there, stragglers, but some of them flat out admitted they were doing it just to buck the system and turn their nose up at the crowd. So that's all right too. But yeah, Choose Your Own Adventure number 137, Scene of the Crime by Doug Wilhelm. I was curious about this last week to see if that one fell. Okay, yeah, this is copyright 1993 by Ganesh Incorporated. So that one, original conception of Edward Packard. So he probably sold it on to this corporation, and probably pocketed everything, made a mint. But this is in the 90s, so I think this is a kind of a later one, or maybe even a secondary volume. This one's slightly different. I think that they had started using kind of like the border, the white border at that time, and it doesn't have. Before, the other one had a balloon that was kind of like a colorful symbol of Choose Your Own Adventure books. But I will read the back for you. Can you stop a conspiracy from destroying your town? I think that there may have been a little bit of a grisly misconception as to what this book was all about. I'm not going to say disappointment. I'm going to say maybe a little bit more juvenile diversion. But let's see. Your small hometown has always been fairly quiet. That is, until plans are revealed to build a huge new mall there. And also, just a side note here, if anyone remembers what a mall is, this is back before the days of internet buying and selling. There was these places that, large, sprawling, ugly places where little shops would open up inside, and big corporate shops and all these things. And you dress to the nines and get totally rehearsed of what you were going to show people when you went to the mall to buy your wares, and make a circuit around and hit the food court, get some Chinese takeout, and what do they call those trays? Sample trays. You can almost make a whole night of it. And those places aren't gone, but I don't know. I don't think that we'll ever return to those days. I think a wonderful send up of the mall culture, Mallrats, that's a wonderful movie. And also Dawn of the Dead. That's a wonderful one. The old one, not the new one. The old one. Anyway, let's see. At first, you're as excited as anyone else. But then, you overhear a mysterious conversation that makes you suspect. Makes you suspect that something fishy is going on. The town council is meeting in just a few hours to decide whether or not to approve the final plans for the mall. Should you go to the police and tell them what you heard, or would it be better to speak up at the town council meeting yourself? I'm really hoping that the foundation, like pouring the foundation, and somebody gets dumped into it. Some, like, skeletons in the closet action. Jimmy Hoffa, yeah, something like that. Because I don't know. This might be small town politics, and believe you me, I've had a belly full of that in the last few months. I'll tell you about that some other time. But what happens next in the story, it all depends on the choices you make. How does the story end? Only you can find out. And the best part, you can keep reading and rereading until you've had not one, but many incredible adventures. And that is Scene of the Crime, number 137. Let's see. There's usually a statement at the beginning kind of alerting you to what you're getting into here. The first thing, you may want to put Bookham on this, to let you know what's up. And in this case, it's absolutely untrue and completely farcical. Confidential, this is not. We're putting it out on the internet for everyone to see, and I'm sure you'll tell all your friends and neighbors. There's an apartment upstairs, Andrew.
Oh no, the book cam was flashing.
Oh, it's flashing?
Yeah.
They didn't want me to flash it, probably. Won't happen. Although, I was talking to... no, I won't tell you about that. It had to do with, doing an episode scantily clad below the waist. No one would ever know. Okay, let me see. May want this, too. Book cam still on, or is it acting crazy? It's a sign for the mall you should be seeing there.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Coming soon.
Coming soon at this site, Maple Grove Mall. 97 stores, no trespassing. 97. That sounds kind of like Forest Fair Mall, which is now Cincinnati Mills Mall. Forest Fair way back in the day. That was a mall to behold. That was something else.
Now it's just like 2 stores.
And now it's 2 stores and total eerie vacancy. Is Arcade Legacy still there?
Mm-hmm. That's one of the only stores.
Arcade Legacy, check it out. All the best stuff is there. Galaga, Street Fighter. From every possible corner of the universe. They've got everything you possibly want to play, and it's a lot of fun. We went there for the Campground Requel, I believe. Kind of like the everybody was getting to know each other. Anyway, first page. Warning. Do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures that you may have as you get to the bottom of conspiracy brewing in your peaceful hometown. From time to time, as you read along, you have a chance to make a choice, and your choice may determine your future. The adventures you have are the results of your choices. You're responsible because you choose. I do not choose. You choose. After you make your decision, follow the instructions to find out what happens to you next. Think carefully before you act. The people you're up against are ruthless, and they'll do almost anything. There's the juvenile part there. Almost anything to make sure their plans are carried out. You're the only one who knows what they're up to, but can you stop them? If you try, you'll have to be ready for anything. Bribery, kidnapping, even murder. Good luck. All right. Bookham. I think it's kind of a little bit more fleshed out version of the first one that I showed. All right. Let's see. Ooh. This bike is seriously showing the time. So anyway, it's got a little bit, not quite a banana seat. It kind of looks like the Thrasher I had when I was a kid. Huffy, baby. No Schwinn. None of that Schwinn crap. It's Huffy or no go. Chapter, or I guess, I don't know what you'd call it. I don't know if you call it chapter. Part 1. Summer's almost over, and you've returned home from a 6-week visit with your grandparents. Not a lot of fun, but you're glad to get back to Grantshire, Vermont, your hometown. The morning after you get home, you ride your bike out to this big empty lot at the edge of town. To most folks in Grantshire, it's just a raggedy stretch of grass and trees. But you and your friends call it the old ballpark. You know its hidden places and its secret trails, and you know the open field where baize paths have been worn through the weedy grass by years of kids playing ball. Your imagination has turned the old lot into the scene of many childhood adventures. From Fenway Park, home of your beloved Boston Red Sox. Were they still at Fenway Park?
I guess so.
Before, I don't think Fenway Park's there anymore. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Somebody comment and let us know. Anyone who knows me know that sports is not my métier. Home of the beloved,
You said sports.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, huh? Boston Red Sox to the wild jungles of the Amazon. To a tropical island rich with pirate gold. But when you ride up to the lot, you get a terrible shock. Staring you in the face is a large sign. Coming soon at this site. Maple Grove Mall. 97 stores. No trespassing. Okay, turn to page 2. Page 2. You can't believe your eyes. You turn your bike around and pedal fast to the office of Hornbeck Real Estate, where your mother works. When you run inside, she's talking on the phone. But when she sees your face, she hangs up immediately. What is it? She asks you. Mom, they're going to bulldoze our ballpark. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I should have told you, she says. But just think, a big indoor mall. You know, your friends are pretty excited about it. You shrug. Yeah, I guess that could be cool. But why do they have to build it on our ballpark? A few blocks away, you find your best friends, Corey and Kale. What? I didn't know that. Totally unrehearsed. I had no idea. Corey and Kale sitting on Corey's front porch. Corey jumps up and smiles when he sees you. Hey, welcome home. Hi, guys, you say. Did you hear about the new mall? It's going to be great, says Kale. I'll bet it have a big electronics store. And a video arcade and a record store and a pizza place, Corey adds. At last, somewhere decent to hang out. I guess so, you say. But I wish they picked a different place to build it. Go to the next page. Okay. This is fantastic. I'm totally excited right now. I am blown away. Hey, these guys do whatever they want to, Corey shrugs. It's not safe to get in their way. What do you mean? You ask. Corey hands you a copy of the Grantshire Observer, the local weekly newspaper. Read this. Oh yeah, by the way, there were these things called newspapers. They were made out of paper, and they printed the daily news on there. They were just pieces of paper. They folded up, and they usually came out of these little stands that you put change into, and you unlock it and open it up and take one out. Sometimes they were sold at stands where people would actually speak to you and take your money without a register or a computer or the internet. And used to read what was going on in the world on a piece of paper. Pretty wondrous time. You might not remember that. Not sure. Town councilman disappears. Frank Sorrell was Maul's lone opponent. Foul play. You scan the article and learn that the Grantshire Town Council was about to decide whether or not to give the Maple Grove Mall the go-ahead. The only council member who was against it was Frank Sorrell, a retired New York City police detective. But last week, Sorrell went on a 2-day fishing trip and he hasn't come back. At this point, police do not suspect foul play, the newspaper reports. But the councilman's daughter, New York attorney Andrea Sorrell, is reportedly coming to Grantshire to investigate. Turn to page 25.
Giving us much choices, are they?
Not so far. Not so many choices so far. But I have a feeling the best is yet to come. Okay, back book cam. This looks like some shady deals here. Who among you has ever climbed a chain link fence? Have you climbed a chain link fence, Andrew?
Oh, of course.
When was the last time you did it? What were you doing? What kind of devilry were you getting into?
I was chasing after somebody. For
You were-
my job.
You're what now? You
After somebody for my job.
Ooh. So he was actually chasing after a criminal when he did his. I was actually committing a crime when I did mine. I was sneaking into a park after hours that had been closed. I was actually taken there by a student teacher who said Ball State would be an interesting place to visit and see what it was all about, and said we could go to this 24-hour woodland park. And then we got there, it turned out the place was closed, so we climbed a chain link fence and kind of, I wouldn't say you broke in, but we just kind of
I've done stuff like that.
jumped in. And then we almost got caught by the guards, and yeah, that was fun.
It only counts if you get caught.
It only counts if you get caught. So, I don't even remember the name of the park. I'm sure there's going to be people, at least one person who's watching this now who remembers the name of that park, and I got nothing. I'm sure it had park in the name. Or woods. Probably woods, too. You spend the rest of the day thinking about the mall. You wonder if it's possible that the mall developers took Frank Sorrell out of the way. You can't believe that kind of thing could happen in Grancher. Later that evening, you head back to Corey's house. You want to talk this over with him. You decide to take the secret shortcut to his yard. You cut through the Grancher Market's parking lot. The supermarket is closed. You climb a chain link fence at the back of the lot, and then swing onto the overhanging branch of the big old apple tree in Corey's backyard. You're about to jump down from the tree into the yard when a long, dark car with its headlights off comes around the back corner of the supermarket. You stop and watch as the car comes to a stop a few feet below your perch. The motor is running. A moment later, a second car, a battered white sedan, pulls up beside the first car. Turn to page 9. I smell a decision. There has to be a decision.
Nope, it's just choose your own adventure. The only choice you had is.
I think that this is a turn your own adventure. Both cars' lights are off, but both engines remain running. You notice that both cars have radio antennas with odd squiggly things in the middle that look like sections of notebook spiral. Okay? You hear a whir as the dark car's push-button window lowers. The driver of the white car cranks down his window. You can just see his face, and you recognize him as town councilman Art Collins. Collins talks cheerfully in a gravelly voice. Trying to hear better, you crawl very slowly out along the tree's lowest branch. You lie very still, hugging the branch as you listen. "We're getting close," you hear Collins say. "It's all gonna pay off." "Good," says a man's voice from the dark car, "because it has to." Now a hand emerges from the dark car. It holds a thick manila envelope. Councilman Collins takes the envelope and nods. "We'll do this one more time, right?" says Collins. "The night after the vote. That'll be the big payment." "Yes," says the other voice. "We'll make the connection in the same way." Collins rolls up his window and drives out of the parking lot. The dark car waits a few minutes. Then it leaves, too. Turn to page 46. This is riveting. I'm riveted. Totally riveted to the spot. There's nothing more exciting than councilmen and mystery men just passing the envelope between two cars. I can't believe that a kid would be even turning anymore past this. I mean, they said the word sedan. What kid that would be reading this about a kid on a BMX would even know what a sedan was? Sorry. Your mind is racing. Maybe they knew that adults would be reading this in 2018.
They knew that was
You know,
a show.
25 years later. 25 years. 1993.
Wow.
Christ.
Getting old.
Yeah, man. Your mind is racing as you watch the dark car drive away. You almost can't believe what you've just seen and heard. First, a big money development is about to be approved by the town when suddenly, the only person who opposed the project disappears. Now someone in a fancy car passes a thick envelope to a town councilman. You drop from the tree back in the parking lot and look around carefully. But the two cars have left no trace of their meeting. You just watched a payoff, a bribe. You're sure of it, and you were the only witness. You've got to do something. But what? You decide not to talk to anyone. Not even Corey. Until you figure out what to do. Walking home in the dark, you come up with 3 possible courses of action.
Well, we get choices.
Choices, finally. You could go to the Grancher Observer and tell the editor what you just heard. Exciting. Or you could find Andrea Sorrell, the daughter of the missing councilman. How old is she? If she's come up from New York City, she must suspect something too. Or you could round up Corey and Kale. No one knows this town better than the three of you. Maybe you and your friends could solve this mystery on your own, though right now you're alone. All right. If you go to the newspaper, turn to page 10. If you try to find Andrea Sorrell, go to page 28. And if you round up your friends, little Goonie posse, go to page 71. And think to yourself, which of these three choices would be the safest? The most white bread? You know, the cold water, the yellow belly, which way to go? And then the other one, or one other one, which would be the most exciting course of action, and then try to find something in between. And then you realize that all three of these are pretty much boring at this point. We're not really sure what's going to transpire. There aren't any fish people. There aren't any rocketing away in a stolen capsule from the space program, 1980, whatever. There's no terror of asphyxiation, drowning, being put in a fish tank used for the pleasure of aliens all over the universe. But there could be. You never know. It might take you back to the time when malls and BMX bikes and spiral notebooks were your whole life. And somehow you knew what a sedan and a payoff and, how important a councilman was. This kid seems like a pretty good detective. I'm not sure how old he is, but I don't know. He seems to know a hell of a lot about the seedy underbelly of small-town politics. So, I don't know. The choices, real quick, are, if you want to go to the newspaper, go to page 10. If you want to try to find Andrea Sorrell, the daughter of the ill-fated detective, go to 28. Or if you want to hook up with your friends and see if you can't get the Scooby Gang together and see what's up, page 71.
I'm going with...
see, the fact that you're telling me what your decision is means that no one has...
Paul said something.
Oh, okay, cool.
We
Awesome.
171. And I'm
okay.
Go with 71 as well, because you gotta get the Stranger Thing vibe.
The Stranger Thing vibe. Don't tell me too much. I still haven't watched that show. Everyone thinks I'm a lunatic. Everyone thinks that I should have watched that show months ago. And it's a thing where there's so many Netflix shows that I need to watch that I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Even though apparently that ought to be the number one on my list. Everything is going to be spoiled in no time if I don't watch that show, because it's become like an ironclad cultural phenomenon in this country. So I don't know, maybe so, but I mean, I guess it's Stranger Things is just Goonies anyway, right? So pretty much
same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except one of them has superpowers.
Although if you're cool, it ought to remind you more of Monster Squad, in my estimation. Just with a little bit that I know. Check it out, Fred Decker, Monster Squad. Watch it tonight with your children or someone else's. Whoever you got over, watch it. Actually, do that cool thing that your parents used to do where, a friend would stay over and you would tell their mom and dad it was okay for you guys to skip school. And you just stay up watching monster movies all night and sleep in and go to Steak and Shake in the morning. Play hooky. All that wonderful stuff that parents apparently can just kind of drop the hammer, say it's okay, and no truancy officers show up at your house. I don't know. Maybe that was back in the day.
That's back, yeah.
Now they'll
they'll
track you down. They'll probably use your phone to track your whereabouts and stuff. And that that little root canal you got when you're 11, no, tracking device. Just kidding. I'm not that way. I don't think that way. What do we got? Okay, so if you want to go to the newspaper, go to page 10. If you want to if you want to meet up with the daughter of the ill-fated detective, go to 28. If you want to hook up with your friends, go to page 71. Who's in the lead so far? I have a feeling it's the friends all the way. So far, the friends are in the lead. So, I mean, I guess the newspaper could be kind of fun. You meet some old crusty reporter, I suppose. Peter Parker will be there. And all those other superheroes that somehow worked at newspapers. I'm not going to mention that one guy because glasses do not fool me. I don't care what you say. I mean, they changed the shape of your face, I guess. He would have been wearing some kind of horrifically bad prescription to even mask his face at all. But and the muscles. I mean, you would have to go to Men's Warehouse and have them give you some kind of absolutely not even well-tailored. It would have to be insanely, geniusly well-tailored to not show off the amazing physique of Superman. So, I digress. But like I said, that's what non-entry episodes are for. I'm allowed to digress a little bit. So, where are we so far? I don't feel like waiting around too long because this is like the...
Going with friends, man.
What's that now?
Going with the friends.
Going with the friends. Okay. So, page 71. But everybody remember 47 so we can go back there when we're going to fall into a pit or get shot by some gangster dude. You want to see what they look like? Go to book cam. And I think I've been saying Kale, but I think it's Kate. Actually, I think I've been reading it wrong. But I think I'm going to call her Kale anyway because her hair's green and it tastes really bitter. So, there you go. All right. You, Corey, and Kale have tackled plenty of problems in the past. You decide to enlist their help with this mystery. The next morning, you meet them at the old ballpark. Now, see, in this picture, there are multiple gigantic trees in the way, so I'm not exactly sure where they were playing ball here. And the three of you sit beneath a clump of birch trees and gaze out at the weedy lot as you tell them the whole story. You sure that's what you heard? Corey asks. Positive. How do you know the guy in the white car was a town councilman, says Kale. Because I recognized him, you say. I got a good look at him. It was Collins, I'm sure of it. Okay, something illegal was going on, Corey said. What can we do about it? We can get evidence, you say. Real solid evidence. How? Asks Kale. You study your friends. Corey's the quick thinker in your little group. Yeah! Best believe. The one you want with you in a tight spot. Kale has a real talent for technology. She's a whiz with any gadget she can get her hands on. At that point, it's probably like ColecoVision. Maybe a calculator. I don't know.
Atari, maybe?
Maybe some sort of cell phone that you have to carry around in this gigantic battery-packed briefcase. Watch Big Lebowski. They got one in there. We can do it, you say, but we need a strategy, so let's think. What do we know so far? Absolutely buckus. Let's see. 111. Oop, they're stuck together. What does that mean? We know one councilman is missing. Oh, sorry. I got my voices straight. We know one councilman is missing, says Corey. We know Councilman Collins is involved in some sneaky way, says Kale. We know there's been a passing of envelopes. There's been a passing of envelopes. We know there'll be one more pass. The big one, you add. Right. We're pretty sure the main guy is the one that drives that long, dark car. We know he met Collins behind the Grandshire Market. And, you add, they said they'd make the connection again in the usual way. Jeez. Which probably means behind the Grandshire. Which probably means behind the Grandshire Market, says Corey. We can stake it out. They're going into a dumpster. There's no doubt about it. Oh, I find it really funny. Kale looks excited. Why not? If all three of us say we saw him, that counts for something, right? I guess so, you answer, but Collins said he'd pick up the final payment the night after the vote. How do we know when that is? I happen to know, says Kale, that the town council is voting tonight on improving the mall. With that one councilman out of the way, it's a cinch they'll have the go-ahead. These are kids, right? Are these children?
They listen to a lot of NPR, right?
I guess. Good God. They probably listen to like Cagney and Lacey, or they're watching Cagney and Lacey. Or Hill Street Blues. That was way before your time, probably. How did you happen to know that, you say? I happened to read the town newspaper, Kale says. The newspaper, Corey muses. That gives me another idea. Turn to page 72. I'll be a son of a bitch.
Was that one of the options before?
Well, okay, there are more options. What is it, you ask? Well, Corey says, wouldn't you like to find out more about Collins and his dark car guy? Maybe we can really get the goods on him. How, says Kale. We do a story on the mall for the Grandshire Observer, Corey says. That'll let us ask questions without anyone's getting suspicious. But why would the paper let 3 kids be reporters? Corey grins. Kids in towns want to know about this mall, right? So why wouldn't the town paper want a story about the mall from the kids' point of view? It's not a bad idea, says Kale. Except for one thing. If these guys pass their final bribe tomorrow night and we don't witness it, we might lose our one big chance to catch them in the act. That's true, I guess, Corey says. He turns to you. What do you think? Should we just stake out the parking lot tomorrow night or try to become investigative reporters? Oh my gosh. I bet you guys are so glad that you picked Scene of the Crime. Oh, I should have just been making up murders. Just making them up. Just coming up on the fly. Corey falls out of the branch, gets stuck on the... If you decide to stake out the parking lot, obviously in a dumpster, I don't know where else it could be. Turn to page 102. If you want to try to become reporters, go to page 82. That is cracking me up that the kid said, or we could become investigative reporters. Oh... That's cracking me up. I'm sorry. I think I might be the only one on the internet tonight that's laughing at this, but I can do nothing but laugh. There's nothing else I can do because so far, oh my God. Have you put the cover up? Did everybody see the cover?
It's been up the whole time.
Okay, cool. Because the cover looks nice and mysterious. What's the girl holding?
Oh, they're doing the...
Oh, they're just holding up the...
They're holding a mic, I think.
Okay, she's holding up the mic, and yeah, he does the flash, so they can totally see them. But then again, I mean, the guy's like standing up, just kind of handing him the... It's almost like they were setting up the photo. This is a Peter Parker photo. It's totally a Peter Parker photo. So, all right. If you want to stake out the parking lot, 102. If you want to become reporters, page 82. I mean, I guess it could work. I guess you could become a reporter. I mean, you wouldn't be becoming a reporter. They just would think that you're a kid just being really vivacious and crazy and reporting on something. So, which one would you guys want to do? I have a feeling you guys are going to stake out the parking lot. I don't know. You're a bunch of voyeurs. I know it full well. I mean, you're watching my live antics right now with this wonderfully exciting book. So, I can only guess that you want to be watching them from the... Andrew's holding up 2 and 1. Is that 2 for...
82 and 1 for the dumpster. Unless 82 is both.
2 is for reporters?
Yeah.
And 1's for the... I am totally shocked.
I'm 1 for the dumpster. Somebody read this.
What's that? Oh my God. He's creating a tie. So now we got 2 for the dumpster and 2 for becoming investigative reporters. 9 on your side. Who's who? Who are the names? Call them out. We got
Paul on 82, Christine on 82, and then Jennifer in the dumpster.
Jennifer's in the dumpster?
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked. That
He
really...
wants to go hide in the alleyway, I guess. You don't know it's a dumpster yet.
I know it's going to be a dumpster. It has to be. Has to be. Unless you're...
They're in the open field.
Although it would crack me up if they were like dressed up like scarecrows. That would crack me up. But then again, I guess they're just like kind of standing there on the cover. They're just like hiding behind the bushes with their microphone and flash just totally raised, poised to go. So we need a tiebreaker. Somebody to come out of the weeds and break this tie. This is probably going to be the fastest one we've ever done.
There's no interest in going back and trying to get killed?
No. Yeah, maybe. He said, is there any interest in trying to go back and get killed? Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, let's see.
Dumpster. We got another one.
Another one for the dumpster? So 3 for the dumpster?
Well, I mean...
3 for the... Okay, so it's the stakeout. And it might not be... After all this talk about the dumpster, it might not be in a dumpster. I don't know. But I don't see how it could possibly be... But then again...
Jennifer said, no, you're not.
No, I'm not what? No, you're not. I don't know. I don't remember. You think I know what I said last? I have no idea. Or maybe I said I'm sorry. I can see her saying that I'm not sorry.
Maybe that.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? All right, so we're going to the dumpster. Our time to be reporters is not going to happen. 102. Let's go for the stakeout, you say. That seems like our best shot. At the appointed time, just before 9 p.m. How would they know what time? Maybe it's dark. Maybe it's just time. I don't know. I'm not sure. Just before 9 p.m. You, Corey, and Kale meet in Corey's backyard. All the lights are still on at the market. Oh, I see. You report, but it should be getting ready to close. Let's hope we're lucky and they just show up, Kale says. Not lucky, smart, Corey says. I think we should each pick a hiding place that'll get us close enough to see and hear what's going on. The lights went off in the market. You interrupt. Let's get into position. Without another word, the three of you swing up into the apple tree. Could this be more innocent? Come on, I need some seediness. Wait, I need to show you this. Look how innocent they look. Any guesses on age here? They seem pretty tall.
I'd say like 12 and 11.
Yeah, I guess they're pretty smart. And I can't quite tell. It looks like Kale has this really punk looking. I can't tell if she's got a. I can't tell. Kind of looks like she has the haircut of the girl from Napoleon Dynamite. The girlfriend. Can't remember her name. Maybe that's horrific that I don't know her name.
I remember the llama's name over her.
Yeah. We may not have much time, you tell your friends. The three of you straddle a low branch of the tree so you're overlooking the parking lot. There's not much to see down there except a dark green dumpster. Yes, thank you very much. Behind it's a pile of large cardboard boxes. One of us should hide in those boxes, you decide. Yuck, says Kale. I'm not going in those slimy things. Okay, then you get the even tastier choice. I'm not making it up, that's what he says. Which is, you smile and point to the dumpster. Forget it, says Kale. No conspiracy is worth that. All right, you answer. Kale, you stay up here. Corey, you hide in the boxes. I'll take the dumpster. Okay, let's hustle then, says Corey. The bad guys could arrive any minute. You and Corey drop into the parking lot as Kale slips back into the branches. Turn to page 60. Choose your own boredom. Wait. Oh, now we're seeing some... Okay, there's some breaking of the law happening here.
That's a big dumpster.
How tall is it, Dan? That can't be... Oh my god! Okay, that is a massive dumpster, dude. Good lord. Okay, I'm going to show that again. Just from the comparison of their height, that thing is massive. That's got to be the biggest dumpster I've ever seen in my life. That's almost like one of those containers they take in like shipping docks, like an A-team. You approach the dumpster nervously. Give me a boost, okay? You whisper to Corey. You place your foot in his cupped hands, push yourself up, and look in. To your dismay, the dumpster is nearly full. Oh well, you sigh. Here goes. You pull yourself over the rim and tumble in. Your sneakers land on something slippery and soft. Your left leg is wet. Suddenly you hear a funny beeping sound coming from the parking lot. You look over the rim of the dumpster. You see a pair of red taillights glowing as a garbage truck backs in. Oh! Stunned, you wonder for an instant what to do. If you jump out, the truck may not see you. You could be crushed. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style. The truck is only a few yards away from now. You would think there'd be a choice, wouldn't you? Don't get all bent out of shape. The truck is only a few yards away. Something moves above the truck, and you see Kale swing down on the branch and drop into the parking lot. She's trying to stop the truck, but it's backing up too fast. Oh. Let me back up a little bit. You see Kale swing down on a branch into the parking lot. She's trying to stop the truck, but it's backing up too fast. The truck's left rear corner smacks her full in the chest.
Damn.
She crumples to the pavement, and the truck keeps backing up. This is getting good real fast. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna celebrate yet. I mean, it's called Scene of the Crime. I mean, come on. They're talking about sedans and envelopes passing and shit. I want to see. Kale! You scream. Hey, stop! But the beeping noise drowns out your voice. Then a second figure dashes out from behind the dumpster. It's Corey. He runs and flings himself up in the... This is getting really action-packed here. He runs and flings himself up on the truck's running board and pounds on the driver's door. The truck stops. You heave yourself over the rim of the dumpster and drop to the ground. Cale is lying motionless 2 inches from the truck's huge rear tire. Corey and the driver come running around the truck that crouched beside you. Cale, you whisper, Cale! There's no answer. The trucker places a large hand gently on your friend's temple. She's got a good pulse. She's breathing okay, but she's out. He stands up. I'll ready you for the rescue squad. They'll be here in about 2 minutes. She'll be okay. What were you kids doing back here anyway? Turn to page 93. Crap. Oh, you answer. We were just dumpster diving, says Corey. Trucker looks confused. Dumpster diving? Yeah, says Corey. You know, looking for good stuff. Of course. The guy named Corey is, he's just digging through the trash. He's like thrifting. Oh, boy. Oh, great, says the driver as he walks to his cab. This is going to make my job real interesting. As the driver radios for help, you look at Corey. Dumpster diving, you say? How do you think of this stuff? Corey smiles and shrugs. It's a talent, I guess. You shake your head. I guess we don't have much of a talent for crime solving, though. Maybe we should tell the police what you saw, Corey says. This is too big for the Grantshire cops. You answer. Tomorrow morning, we're going to call the FBI. Corey whistles. Okay, he says, but you do the talking. Don't worry, you say with a smile. You're a bit nervous, but you can't wait to make that call. The end.
Is the kid okay?
You don't find out. I guess she just got knocked out. Oh, man. I definitely wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Okay, so where did the do you remember where the other ones fell in line? We got the newspaper and Andreas Sorel. Those are the other two choices. So I think that's the first choice we had, right? Was back at the newspaper thing?
We just kept going. Well, we had 3 choices, and I think they went to the newspaper again, didn't they? 71?
No, that was Rounding Up Your Friends. It was 71. So I went back to the first choice. So, everyone, if you're still there, do you want to check out I keep saying check her out. This is that part in Ghostbusters all over again. Do you want to talk to Andrea Sorel, the daughter of the ill-fated detective, and go to 28, or do you want to go to the Observer and find out about becoming investigative reporters and go to page 10?
They didn't give us a lot of choices.
No, not so far. Although, there's some stuff. I'm flipping, I'm seeing a lot of pictures, so I guess there could be something. Although, dead serious, I was not expecting that dumpster thing. I thought she was toast. I thought she was toast on that one. Because, why bring it up? It was just kind of milling around for a little while there, and all of a sudden the dumpster comes out of nowhere and just crushes her. Oh. But then again, full disclosure, how fast is any garbage truck? I suppose so if you're 12 or whatever,
We got 1 for 10.
1 for 10? Mm-hmm. Who's that?
Lena.
Oh, Lena. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is one of Lena's picks tonight. She was all about seeing the crime. So I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're really happy. 2 for what?
10.
2 for 10. Let's just go.
All right.
Yeah, let's just go. 2 for 10. 2 for 10. And 10 for 2. Oh, my God. I'm losing my mind. Okay, let's see this guy. I'm doomed to look like this guy. I have gotten so much flack for shaving my mutton chops off. Everybody probably thinks I look like this guy. You wouldn't believe it, man. Like, my boss, flat out. The boss of where I work said that he's so pissed at me for shaving my mutton chops off. What is that? When does that happen? You let gauges into Kroger, and that's what you get. The next morning, you head for the office of the Grantshire Observer, which is in a weather-beaten wood building on the side street off of Coolidge Avenue, the main street in town. Wouldn't the main street in town be called Main Street? What's going on here?
Coolidge Avenue.
Coolidge Avenue. Maybe you took a shit there once. Inside, that'd be Calvin Coolidge, one of our presidents. You know who that is? Freaking Andrew. Inside the office, a mound of papers nearly covers a desk, a computer, and a man who's losing his hair. The man blinks at you. Hi, he says. What can I do for you? I'm looking for the editor. I'm Lou Millman, the editor, he says. Also the reporter, the layout artist, and the ad salesman. The Observer was a pretty small paper. You tell Lou Millman that what you saw behind the Grand Shore Market and that you suspect the town council is being bribed to approve the Maple Grove Mall. So you can investigate, you finish, right? But the editor shakes his head. I'm sorry, he says. The town council is going to vote on the mall project at 7 o'clock tonight. Next issue of the paper doesn't come out until Thursday. Even if I had time to do some kind of investigation, which I'm afraid I don't, it'll be too late to make a difference. Turn to page 94. Thanks for nothing! But paying off a town council member is against the law, you tell the editor. That's a big story. That would be, if you could prove it, Lou Millman said. But you've got no evidence. It'd be your word against Mr. Collins's. Besides, people at the CYOA Corporation stand to make a lot of money from that shopping mall. They aren't about to let us stop them. They aren't about to let us stop them. That's a difficult sentence to say. What's the CYOA Corporation? A developer. They're a nationwide corporation that comes in towns like this one, buys up empty lots, and builds big malls. Or casinos. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people say they're ruthless. If I try to stop them, they can put my paper out of business. I don't know what they'd do to you. If I were you, I would just forget what you saw. You turn to leave. Thanks for the information, you say. Sure, says the editor. As you walk out, he calls after you. Hey, I thought all you kids were excited about the mall. You turn back. Malls are cool, you answer. But bribing one council member and maybe kidnapping another, that's not. I wish we had the CSI Miami music. And, you know, I mean, that's definitely that's a Horatio Caine, flat out. Yeah. Turn to page 13. That guy just got told by this little kid. Oh, here we go. Get to see the symbol of evil. Bookcam. The CYOA Corporation. And for some reason it's in, like, Old English. That seems kind of odd. After leaving the newspaper office, you hop on your bike and decide what to do next. You could ride straight to Grand Shore Police Station and tell the chief what you saw last night, or you could try to get the evidence that Lou Millman said you need. But how? If you want to go to the police, go to page 53. If you try to get the evidence yourself, go to page 22. I'm going to turn to page 22 and make sure we haven't done this yet. Okay, we haven't. So I'll repeat that. If you want to go to the police, go to 53. If you want to collect the evidence yourself, go to page 22. And I guess leave your friends out to dry?
We didn't get them this time.
Well, I guess not. I bet they'll come in sooner or later, though.
Elena said the worst paper ever.
Yeah, it's the worst paper ever, and I could totally see that wooden building it was in. That reminds me of this doctor's office I went to one time. It was crazy. Wood paneling everywhere, but yet they had an MRI. I don't know. Those two things are two great tastes that don't taste great together. I was like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Why is this guy's first name Harbants? Yeah, he was really funny. I had to go to an MRI because I basically have just like a constant headache all the time, low-level headache. And he wanted to see what was on the inside of my head to make sure there wasn't a tumor. And he looked at me, and Apu is the only voice that's appropriate. Because, I mean, he just sounded like him. But he basically looked at me and said, perfectly normal, totally empty. It was a pretty good joke, I have to say. But anyone who's seen the size of my skull know that it can't be empty. It's got something in there. It may not be a brain. It might be another twin that got, absorbed. There might be an eyeball and some teeth. I don't know on my brain, but something's up. Anyway.
We got one go after him.
One to go after him. You mean the evidence part?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
So one. Not going to the police. So.
Oh. Huh?
Actually, she said go after M, like M.
Okay, that's weird.
But I'm guessing.
Does she know the antagonist of this story? Or is there an apostrophe there?
Yep.
Oh. Well, maybe some kind of weird text jargon.
She's meaning to go Go get the evidence.
Go get the evidence, or go to the police. So we have one for each.
Nope,
Just go for the evidence. Nobody wants to go to the police. No one wants to hit up the 5-0. No one wants to go to the donut dealers. Nobody? Absolutely nobody? If you go to the police, which obviously none of you want to do, go to page 53. If you try to get the evidence, I mean, I guess when it comes down to it, the evidence would be funner. If you want to go get that, turn to 22. We need some more. I'll need at least 3 votes before I make any sort of decision. That's just the way I roll. What? Oh, did I say donut dealers? I didn't mean to say that. Yeah. We've got
22 is that police or
22 is to go get the evidence yourself.
We got 2 for that.
2 for it.
We got 2 for that, 1 for the police.
Okay. Got 2 for getting the evidence ourselves. That's where we're going. Page 22.
We got 3 for evidence.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's starting to become overwhelming. I think everyone wants to put these children in danger. The police will never believe you. You decide to enlist your friend's help instead. I freaking knew it. You call your mother and tell her that you're going to Kale's house for dinner. Actually, there's no time for dinner, but you are going to Kale's. You have an idea. You're going to need her help. Luckily for you, Kale's deeply into gadgetry. What's up, says Kale when she answers her door. Kale, if you wanted to secretly tape a conversation, how would you do it? Your friend's eyes narrow. You've been acting a little weird since you got back, she says. What's going on? You quickly tell her the whole story. Wow, she says when you finished. What's your plan? I need evidence, you say. So if Councilman Collins should happen to say something that proves he was behind the supermarket that night, and I should happen to record what he says, I'd call that evidence, Kale finishes. You nod. The council meeting starts at 7 tonight. If I can get there a little early, I can try to have a short chat with Councilman Collins beforehand. I think Alina will chime in here. I think that any recorded footage, audio nature, video nature, whatever, that's taken without the person's knowledge, I think it's pretty much inadmissible in court.
Not if it's in a public place.
But it's not going to be in a public place.
It's in the back of the alley.
Is that a public place?
I guess.
Because I would like to think that the alley where the dumpster is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I would like to think that has a sign that says no loitering. Right?
It's the 90s. You loitered everywhere.
I guess so.
Or is it the 80s?
I don't know. No, this is the 90s, 1993. 2 years before I graduated. I call that evidence, Kale finishes. The council meeting starts at 7 tonight. If I can get there a little early, I can have a short chat with Councilman Collins beforehand. I just need you to fix me up with the equipment. He's going to wear a wire. He's going to wear a wire. Snitches get stitches. You camped at the right place, says Kale with a grin. Turn to page 85. And on, and with the story. At 20 minutes before 7, you park your bike outside of Town Hall. Kale's tiny cassette recorders. You may have seen these before in Guardians of the Galaxy. They're rectangular pieces of plastic with little reels of tape inside that record things. Sound. You used to have a talk boy? Mm-hmm. Did you get it specifically because of Home Alone?
Yeah.
The legend began. It's taped inside your sweatshirt. A wire runs from the machine through a hole in your shirt to a very small bead microphone pinned to your chest behind a large Boston Red Sox button. You're feeling nervous, but you force yourself to breathe steadily. You reach under your sweatshirt and push the machine's record button. As you start to walk toward the building, you stop short. Art Collins' white car is parked just a few feet away, and he's sitting inside. What if he saw you reach under your shirt? What if he did? You were scratching your nipple. You got poison ivy. You're a kid. Okay. All right. Suspension of disbelief has to kick in right about here. Though your heart is pounding, you try to act natural, as you stroll towards the white car. As you get closer, you see that Collins isn't paying any attention to you. He's talking on his car phone.
That's impressive for that time.
Yeah, I saw a lot of car phones during that time, and they were always inoperative. They never worked.
You had to use a credit card?
Well, because he had them plugged in and stuff, like this really eerie green, like all the buttons would light up and stuff. But I never knew any ones that actually worked. I think that there was some kind of big antenna. It was craziness. Taking a deep breath, you tap on the car window. What is up with this kid? Collins hangs up and rolls down the window. Hello there, youngster, he says. What can I do for you? Well, sir, you say, I really like to get a job at the Grantshire Market. Aren't you the manager there? Collins scratches his head. Why, no, I sell shoes for a living. Oh, gosh, sorry, but I saw you drive out from behind the building last night. Weren't you closing up the market? This kid is ballsy. He's ballsy. Turn to page 20. No wonder he's trying to get a job as a reporter. I don't think even Peter Parker would make that mistake. Okay. Book him. I mean, it might be a little bit before the fact, but you're definitely fleeing. You don't want to end up... Well, I guess you wouldn't know. That's another timeline where Kale almost got creamed by that garbage truck. The councilman smiles calmly. Why, no, he says. I was home last night. Couldn't have been me. Oh, you say, but it was a white car just like this one. Colin smiles again. Oh, this old baby's a pretty ordinary car. Must be a dozen like it in this town. Now listen, you just go right into that market and ask for an application. I'm sure a young person like you will get a job. If you're not just a little too young for that sort of thing. He looks at you closely. Well, maybe. Anyway, I'm sorry to have bothered you. No bother at all. Rats, you think as you walk back to your bike. As you start out to ride in the parking lot, you glance back at the white car. Collins is talking again on his car phone, looking very agitated. And he's looking right at you. Something tells you it's time to ride home fast. A few minutes later, and you're pedaling hard and breathing heavily. You hear a car coming up fast behind you. You turn a corner and hear the car turn it too. No one else is around. Scared to look back, you ride as hard as you can. But the car is speeding up and you hear a whoosh as it comes up behind you. Suddenly you feel yourself flying through the air. And that's the last thing you remember. Turn to page 8. They attempted an open casket, and your mother cried. The battered mess that was once your body laid in repose. Silken sheets were wound around your body. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, I think you're making that up.
You wake up in a hospital bed, not too far away. Your head hurts like crazy and your left shoulder is heavily bandaged. You can't move it, and it hurts too, and so do your ribs. All 3 of them. Your mother is sitting by your bed. She puts down a newspaper when you open your eyes. Oh, thank heavens, she says, you're awake. Mom, what happened? Some kind of hit and run. A car hit you from behind and knocked you into a tree. Your shoulder and chest took a lot of the impact, but your head smacked that tree pretty hard. You've had a serious concussion. You broke shoulder and 2 ribs. You've been unconscious for 3 days. Christ. 3 days, you repeat slowly. Incredible, isn't it? But look, the newspaper doesn't lie. The date on the Grantshire Observer says Thursday, 3 days after the town council meeting. And the headline reads, Maple Grove Mall will be built. I can't believe the hit-and-run driver didn't stop, your mother continues. If they had, they wouldn't have been a hit-and-run driver, now would they, Gladys? The police say they don't have any clues. The doctor says you're lucky to be alive. You lie back against the pillows and close your eyes. I can't remember anything. But I think they're right, you answer quietly. The end. There's a lot of near vehicular manslaughter around here, and I wish it would just kind of get to the point.
Just kill them off already?
Well, I don't know. I think he could have used like a nice eye patch or something. Alright. I guess that we're going to see Andrea Sorrell. That's the only thing left.
This one doesn't give you, like, for real, a lot of choices. It's like you pick 2 things and then... just...
Well, this was later on. He's complaining about the lack of choices. I think that this may have been a little bit later on, and you know, they just didn't feel like doing the work. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I would totally. It gives me a headache. I did I made up a choose your own adventure that we did with the writing group one time. And I mapped out the whole thing myself in a matter of a couple of hours. And it is a grueling task trying to come up with everything that happens in these. So it might have been that they just wanted to kind of save some time. But, okay, so we're going to see Andrea Sorrell. The next morning, you pick up Corey and head for Frank Sorrell's house, hoping to talk to his daughter, Andrea. But halfway there, you stop your bike at a red light. A long black car pulls up beside you. It was the one at the secret rendezvous. Corey, we gotta follow that car, you say. When the light changes, the car cruises ahead and turns onto a road leading into town. You and Corey ride as hard as you can down the road after it, but you lose sight of it after a few seconds. Let's keep going a little farther, you said. When you round a bend down the road, you spot the car parking in the yard of a small local trucking company called Belleville Transport. You and Corey pull your bikes off the road behind a maple tree and watch as a slim, blonde-haired man in a gray suit steps out of the dark car. He walks into the Belleville Transport office at one corner of the square, one story. I don't know what's up with that. I'm having trouble. Square one-story building. What's he doing here? You whisper. I don't know, Corey answers. Maybe they kidnapped Sorrell and threw him into a truck. Oh, I guess they didn't find Sorrell dead. He just disappeared? He never came back. Okay, so he's not necessarily dead. He's just kind of out of the picture. You look over your friend, Corey. That's not just a great idea. Suddenly, you're grabbed from behind. The prison bitchery starts now. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. It might not be that horrific. You twist around and see that the person who grabbed you is Grancher's chief of police, Marvin Turner. Despite his heft, the chief has snuck up behind you silently. Fat people can mask our sound. Wouldn't you agree, Andrew?
Yeah.
Wow. Hook, line, and sinker. He's got one big hand on each of you. You spot his cruiser parked farther down the road. I know kids get bored with swimming and squirt gun fights late in the summer, he says. But why spy on a trucking company? You stammer. Well, Chief, you don't want to tell him the truth. Trucks, Corey interrupts. We love trucks. Chief Turner smiles broadly. Ah, he says, letting you go of you and Corey. I used to like trucks too, but still, this is private property. But Chief, you say, we're not on their property. Chief Turner's face grows stern. Listen, kids. I'm telling you not to hang around this place. If I see you here again, I'm going to have to cart you away and speak with your folks. This is your warning. He walks back to his patrol car. What do you think he was doing? Corey muses when the chief is out of earshot. Just patrolling? Maybe, he says thoughtfully. Or maybe he was giving Belleville Transport some extra attention. Suddenly you see a flash of movement out of the corner of your eye. You turn and see that the blonde-haired man is emerging from Belleville's office. You and Corey duck behind the tree again and watch. The hook up with the chief. What do you bet? You glance behind you to make sure that the chief's cruiser is gone. And you and Corey continue to watch as the blonde-haired man gets back into his car. With a soft crunch of gravel, the vehicle pulls out of Belleville's gate and turns down the road toward town. You and Corey flatten yourselves on the ground as the car glides by. Do you think he saw us? Corey whispers. I don't think so, you say. He was driving too fast. Let's follow him, says Corey. I don't know, you say slowly. It could be risky. Maybe we should just head to Sorrell's house. Corey shrugs. It's up to you, man, he says, but I think we should go for it. All right. Here we go. If you want to follow the dark car, maybe leading to kidnapping, murder, and death, maybe sold prostitution in some faraway Arab land, Morocco, something like that. You never see your parents again. You're tanned by the sun, worked almost to death by the labor. Or, if you want to ride to Sorrell's house, turn to page 40. Page 69? Hey. Don't even, that's, your mind's in the gutter. Your mind's in the gutter.
She was saying,
I heard you snicker.
Lena said he's on the take. The officer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Chief Turner is not what he's cracked up to be there. There, nits. I guess I could read all these in my voice, but it's funner.
Yeah, it's funner.
It's funner this way. And I'd like to think that I got a couple of gigs this way. I don't know. Maybe.
I like Corey's voice. And the adults.
Yeah, okay. If you're following a dark car, go to 69. If you ride to Sorrell's house, go to page 40.
I'm going to say the dark car. I mean, he already hit and run.
Yeah, already hit and run. But that's another timeline. Yet another timeline.
That was a different universe.
That was Pickle. Wait, does this kid have a name?
I don't think he does.
I think it's the unnamed protagonist.
It's you.
No, I'm the other guy. I'm Corey. For some reason, I'm doing like some kind of weird Bill and Ted thing with that. Page 69 to follow the dark car to your absolute demise, or you ride to Sorrell's house and go to page 40. I'm stepping on something over here.
2 for 69. 3 for 69.
That sounds difficult to do. That was crass. Sorry. He said there was 3 for 69. So what we got? 3 for 69 and 1 for the other?
I think my live stream just pooped out on me.
Uh-oh.
I mean, this one's fine.
Okay. So 69 is the winner so far?
So far.
How many did we get? How many people? Keys, with a rollicking good action-packed story, I don't mind waiting a little bit longer, but this is kind of a slow burn. This is a little bit more of a mystery than we normally get into, so.
We got just 3 for 69. Say the choices again real quick. We got more people watching. It's like 6 people watching.
Okay. If you want to follow the dark car, turn to page 69. And if you want to go to Sorrell's house, go to page 40. So, there could be some things happening in page 40 when you go to Sorrell's house. We haven't met Andrea yet. Maybe there will be some kismet, some sparks. You never know. A little bit of a connection there. Or she could totally come out with you a blunt object. You never know.
1 for 40.
1 for 40.
Yeah, Doc.
That is not known as a majority. We're going to 69. All right, let's follow that car, you say. You and Corey grab your bikes and hit the road. I remember those days. Well, you pedal as hard as you can, but by the time you're around the bend, there's no sign of the car. But as you continue towards town, the dark car suddenly passes you from behind. It glides by very slowly and stops just in front of you. Oh, God! That makes my gut tighten up. I know this is just silly kid stuff, but man, when they know you're following them, that's scary in a movie, I think. Mm-hmm. The driver's door opens and the blonde-haired man steps out. He stands by the car and looks straight at you as you pedal by. His look is hard and cold. Wow. They're pretty cool under pressure. The car stopped right in front of him, and they just pedaled around it. That's funny. His look is hard and cold. You feel a chill of fear crawl down your spine. Turn to page 33.
You guys think you're real slick, don't you?
The blonde-haired man said.
You think you're just slick as snot, don't you?
No. I'm trying to interject some cool into this thing, man. You and Corey ride as hard as the railroad bridge down at the edge of Grantshire. In fact, it's probably Grantshire, but I don't know. It's the Briticisms. You drag your bikes down beneath the bridge and face each other. Corey looks scared, and you can't blame him. You are too. That guy looked mean, Corey says. You got a really good look at us. How do you think he knew we were tailing him? It had to be the chief, Corey says. The chief must have called him somehow and told him. And that guy must have pulled off the road to let us ride by so he'd come up behind us like that. He's probably just trying to scare us, he said. Well, he succeeded, said Corey. Plus, he got a good look at both of us. Dude, you said that 3 times. So what? We haven't done anything wrong. No, says Corey. But we better move very carefully from now on, dude. Let's head to Sorrell's. Are you sure? Why not? Those are public streets out there, you little bitch. That's not what he says. Damn. I don't like to see a Corey acting like this, man. A few minutes later, as you and Corey are riding past the old bar park, you hear another car coming up fast behind you. You never even have time to turn and see if it's a dark car. The entire community is shocked when news of the drive-by shooting gets out. Oh! Blat! Blat! Oh! For real. Not making it up. It's here. Wait a second. Book cam. Nobody's going to believe me. Book cam. Drive-by shooting. Yes. Short and sweet. Oh! Okay. Nothing like it has ever happened in Grandshire before. That was worth the whole trip. Oh, man. What did we do wrong?
We followed the black car.
Oh, shit. Okay, 47. Okay, 47. Andrea Sorrell, 28. And then... oh. Okay, 107. Sorry, I have to go through this whole thing to find...
The kids died in that one?
They're dead, dude. The paper, like, reported it and everything. Damn. That means that the chief... Wow, man. Okay.
No one's believing it.
Okay. But we showed it, though. It's on there. Nobody believes me?
They're just like, what?
Yeah, it's there. You want me to show it again?
No, it's fine.
Oh, wait, what should we do? We followed the dark car, didn't we?
Yeah, 40, I think, was the other choice.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. That's cracking. Finally. Okay, wait. Okay. Just for the sake of thoroughness, look, it really happened. I didn't make it up. Am I there? Can you see it?
Get closer. It's not focusing. But they can see the car.
Okay. Well, yeah. Wow. That is I can't believe it. I mean, it's not gory or anything, but I just wasn't expecting that. Yes. Finally. All right. Okay, so now we're going to Sorrell's house, I think. He convinced Corey to forget about the dark car and continue on to Frank Sorrell's house. When you get there, you're not too surprised to see a Grandshire police car parked up next to the street. Ride past the house, he said to Corey. Act natural. He nods. The two of you pass the cruiser around the corner. Then you stop, and Corey pulls up beside you. I don't think we want the Grandshire police to know we're visiting Andrea Sorrell, he says. No problem. I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand. Follow me. You slide your bikes into some bushes, glance right and left, and disappear between two houses. Turn to page 108. And now, I was talking shit before, but now I'm not so sure that anything isn't going to happen now. Book cam on this. I think this is the famous Andrea Sorrell. Looking rather spiffy. She kind of... I think they're going for like a Mary Tyler Moore thing here. Following Corey, you soon discover that he knows this neighborhood well enough to know there's a deep ditch running between the backyards of the houses. Keep your head down and follow me, he whispers. A few minutes later, you and Corey poke your heads above the rim of the ditch. That's the place, Corey says, nodding at the white clapboard house with dark green shutters. You notice that the lawn has grown scraggly in the days that Sorrell's been missing. I bet that's a sign he didn't take off on his own, you whisper. Most people would arrange to have someone cut their lawn while they're away. Probably so, because in Rising Sun, anyone who lives down here knows that if it's up above a certain amount... Then again, I mean, it depends on if your neighbors call or not. Obviously, I've been the victim of this. If anyone says anything and it's above a certain line, you don't know what it is. They don't tell you what it is, whatever it is. If it's over that and somebody decides to call on you, then, even though there are, derelict cars everywhere and, all these houses that are about to fall down around people's ears and fire traps. But, inch and a half grass. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you. Priorities. Corey nods. Then he elbows you and points to the house's kitchen window. There's a woman inside, looking out at you. She disappears from sight for a moment, then the back door opens. Just a little. She's done this before. Ducking from one well-trimmed shrub to another. I don't know what that's supposed to mean either. You and Corey make your way up to the house. The back door opens. Oh my God! It just keeps handing him over. I just can't let it go. I'm Andrea Sorrell, says the woman who lets you in. She's tall and attractive, about 30 years old with black hair. You introduce yourselves. Miss Sorrell, you say. We think there's something funny about this mall project.
You want to hold full Shatner on?
Full Shatner. So do I, she says. Come on in and let's talk. Turn to page 36. I've read books about this kind of thing. Sitting in Frank Sorrell's kitchen, you tell Andrea what you saw behind the Grancher market. It must have been someone from the CYOA Corporation, Andrea says grimly. They're the mall developers. They build these things all over the country. They'll bulldoze anything and anyone that gets in their way. That's why I'm so worried about my dad. You would have thought she said father. She just seems like the type, right? There's one more thing you say. You tell her about the dark car stopping it. Why can't they just say black car? Right? I mean, they saw it in the broad daylight. They don't know what damn color it is.
Dark car.
I mean, they know what a sedan is, and they know what passing envelopes means.
Don't know the color of the car.
She says. Wait here a minute. And she goes upstairs. Oh, boy. A few minutes later, she comes back down. I just called the town clerk, she says, you and Corey. Belleville Transport was bought by CYOA Corporation just last month. Page 98. These kids are like looking for the money men. It's so weird, man.
It's for the meat of the story.
I mean, I'm not so sure that this story would have degraded anyway if they would have made them adults doing all this stuff.
It would make more sense, I think.
Yeah.
Besides riding the bikes.
What could it mean? Corey asked Andrea. Why would the CYOA Corporation buy a dinky local company like Belleville Transport? Here's my theory, she says. CYOA has been paying off the town council and the police and who knows who else to get its plans approved. But my father wouldn't cooperate. I'm changing it because it just sounds right. Frank Sorrell served 45 years in the New York Police Department and never took a bribe. I bet he was putting together the evidence to show just how much power the CYOA Corporation's money has bought in this town. I think he was disappeared. You mean killed? Andrea's face pales. I hope not, she says. I hope he's just been kidnapped. But we've got to move fast. I'd like to find out what trucks left Belleville Transport that day. My dad disappeared and where they were going. And that means visiting Belleville late tonight. You glance at Corey, who nods. We want to help you, you tell Andrea. She looks doubtful. I don't know, she begins. You need our help. Oh, wait, sorry. You need our help, Corey insists. We know this town better than anyone. Well, Andrea says slowly, you have a point. Since I'm a stranger in town, it would be helpful to have a guide. She looks at the two of you seriously. But you have to promise me you'll be careful and not put yourselves in any danger. You and Corey nod, like she gives a damn. Maybe she does. She's. It says she was like in her 30th. Late that night, dressed in dark clothes, you and Corey lead Andrea along a path through the woods near Belleville Transport. When you reach the edge of the lot, you hold up your hand. Corey and Andrea come up behind you. He's like doing like military signs and stuff. You point ahead to a square one-story building. The trucking depot is silent. The paved lot around it is edged by an old wire fence. At this spot, the dirt beneath the fence has been dug out. As kids, you used to sneak into the Belleville lot just for fun. The three of you crawl under and then stand up on the other side. Dude, I bet Kale's pissed. She totally got left behind for all this action. One of you stay here as a lookout, Andrea whispers. The other one, come with me. Corey looks at you. What you want to do? If you want to stay outside as a lookout, I guess that this question is actually aimed at the protagonist. If you stay outside as lookout, turn to page 42. If you go with Andrea, turn to page 45. 42, 45, they're very close together. Could it mean doom? Could it mean Further boredom? I doubt it. I don't know. I honestly, I'm not putting anything past this story now. I was not expecting a drive-by shooting, even though that didn't happen in the current timeline. So, you never know. They might go out for cake and ice cream or something. I don't know. So, if you want to stay outside of the lookout, go to page 42. If you go with Andrea, turn to page 45. I guess staying outside as a lookout, that could be fairly exciting, but you wouldn't know what would... Although, if you stayed outside, that could leave them open to be kidnapped. Or shot. Or held hostage. Yeah, like that. It could get real good. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one would be better. Going in?
Numbers go with Andrea?
Andrea is 45.
I got 2 for 45.
Staying on outside as a lookout is 42. So, anything can happen. Honestly, now, anything can happen. Maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe they're just luring you into...
Another drive-by shooting if you stay outside.
I mean, that's gotta be... I don't know. I don't want to take it... I don't know. I don't want to take it for granted. Because I definitely wasn't expecting that. And I guess they did say somewhere in here, murder, kidnapping, like bribery and stuff. So, I don't know, man. I was really, I thought that it was timid. It was a really tame story until
shots were fired.
Until, I mean, 187 on these 2 children, man. I was not expecting that. And especially, the way that they described it was totally cold-blooded, where, like, the dark car rolled up and the newspaper had never, ever before, printed a story about 2 kids getting drive-by shot. It's like, oh! Yeah, that made this whole thing worthwhile. Hopefully there's some grisly shit that's going to happen here. Maybe there's like a cement pit. Throw Andre in and then threaten to throw Corey in. That would be cool. Or the other way around. Throw Corey in and threaten to throw him. But he's known Corey longer. Andre is like new on the scene. She's an older woman. It just would never work. It just wouldn't. She's way too old. The choices are stay outside to look out, page 42, or if you go with Andrea, page 45. Just 2 on Andrea?
I mean, I'll go with Andrea too. But...
Okay. Let's wait a little bit longer to see if anybody goes for the lookout, I guess. But, I mean, that's such a passive role. It's only action going in with Andrea on this thing. Because, I mean, Bellevue Transport, did they say that they...
Is this the same time when did they already see him?
No, I don't think they even see anything yet. They're just going to transport. Like, there's no...
They saw the trucks, didn't they? They went to her house?
I don't think they followed anyone. I think they just went to Belleville Transport. So... That's weird. They're not even talking about the dark car being there. So I'm not sure. I mean, I guess at this point, we're probably going with Andrea, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh shit, there's a lot of page. No! Okay, we're going to page 45. I'll go in with you, say Andrea. All right, she replies. Corey, you stay here and keep a lookout for anything suspicious. Give a whistle if you see anything. Okay, Corey replies. Good luck in there. You and Andrea head for the building, moving as quickly and quietly as possible. You notice there's only one truck parked in Belleville Transport's darkened lot. You hold your breath while Andrea takes out a small hacksaw. All right. And cuts open the padlock on the building's back door. You wait for an alarm, but you don't hear anything. This kid is so streetwise. He lives in freaking Vermont, or wherever they're at. I don't know.
Rising sun, right?
Rising sun. What? They look like total cat burglars. Okay, book cam. They are total cat burglars. This is a 30-year-old woman running around with like a 12-year-old guy. 2 12-year-old guys to break into this place. This is hilarious. This is like every kid's... Huh?
They break that window?
No, it's a map. Those are roads, and this is a... Yeah. These are demarcation lines on a topographical map, Andrew. It's not a broken window. You follow Andre into a darkened building. Your pen-sized flashlights throw a little disc. I'm glad they stopped at the spy shop, too. Throw little discs of light on the walls. You find the main office, a small room with a window overlooking the loading area. The office contains a single, battered file cabinet. Andrea drops to her knees. What? Oh, and starts to rummage through the files. Sorry. It's not my fault. Okay? You hope she finds something quickly. Instead, she curses softly. Shit. These files are a mess, she says. Andrea, look at this. You've noticed a large wall map showing this part of Vermont. Certain roads have been highlighted in pink, yellow, and green marker. They lead from Grantchester to Burlington, Montpelier, Middlebury, and other Vermont cities and towns. And also off to New York State, Canada, and New Hampshire. It's Belleville's route map, Andrea whispers. Right, now look at this. Turn to page 14. What are you looking at, Jimmy? Several of the Belleville transport routes marked on the map converge at a tiny spot in the country. A place called Woodard's Mill, about 30 miles from Grantchester. What's that? Andrea asks. You shrug. A tiny little town, you say. Why would the trucks go there? Andrea shrugs. When you need information, she says, first try the obvious source. She grabs a local phone book that's lying on top of the filing cabinet. She thumbs through it, then she stops. Aha, she says. What? You ask, peering over her shoulder. Look. Turn to page 48. The dogged footsteps of the investigators. Okay, book cam. Sorry. All these illustrations, I don't know what to do.
They're breaking up.
They got to get out of there. Andrea's penlight lights up a slice of page under B. Belleville Transport, you read. Office and main depot. Old Bridge Road, Grantchester. Storage warehouse. Devil's Ditch Road, Woodard's Mill. Andrea checks the wall map again. My father's fishing camp... sorry. My father's fishing camp is not far from the road at Woodard's Mill. They could have grabbed him at the camp and... taken him to this warehouse! But where's Devil's Ditch Road? We'll find it, she says. Let's go! But when you arrive at the back door, you're just in time to see the Belleville truck roar to life. Spitting gravel, the truck spins out a lot, heading away from town. Only then do you realize that Corey is gone. Dun, dun, dun! Turn to page 89.
That would have been you.
That would have been me. I wouldn't got caught, though, see? I would have, yeah, that wouldn't happen. They've got Corey, you exclaim. I know, Andrea said grimly. I never should have gotten you kids into this. They turned away from Grantchester towards Woodard's Mill, you say. We've got to follow them. A few seconds later, you reach Andrea's speedy dark green sports car. Get in, she says. She flips you a brand new copy of the Vermont Atlas and Gazetteer. It's got detailed maps showing roads and... Okay, back in the days before GPS systems, we had these things called atlases. I actually found my way through Canada with one of them. I recommend getting one. Ray McNally. Only way to go. It's got detailed maps showing roads and rivers, even tiny lanes and narrow streams, for every piece of Vermont. I just bought this, she says. Thought I might need it. What's the fastest way? To Woodard's Mill! Head straight down Route 7, you say. You're thumbing for the right page. Then, let's see. You're slammed against your seat as the powerful car takes off. Turn to page 15. You found the right map in the Vermont Atlas. You study it with your penlight. Okay, you say to Andrea. Go down Route 7 to Newcomb Crossing, then turn east on 74. Woodard's Mill isn't far from there. And I see Devil's Ditch Road right here on the map. You're the navigator, says Andrea. She pushes the car to 50. Wow. 88 miles per hour, Monty. The speed limit on Vermont two-lane highways. Now the powerful vehicle surged to 60, then 70. Soon you're doing 75 miles per hour. Andrea, you say, what if we get stopped? What if we go back in time? I don't trust the Grancher cops. That truck has a head start, she says. Your friend's life might be at stake, and my father's too. But if you live around here and you know these roads, and you think we might be likely to get stopped, I'll slow down. If you agree with me that it's worth the risk, I'll get this there as fast as I can. You tell her to stick to the speed limit, go to page 59. You little yellow-bellied coward. If you tell her to keep speeding, you wild bastard, go to page 68.
I'm going to say speeding.
Of course. Of course. Although, if you don't speed, something dastardly might happen, though, too.
Gonna get pulled over by the cops.
You might get rear-ended. What if you get pulled over by Chief Turner?
We will.
And that accent that I totally forget what I was doing for him. All right. Who's going the speed limit and who's speeding? Who is breaking the law? All of you. It's got to be all of you. I know every single person is going to be speeding. Oh. By the way, Heckles and Horror starting 10-ish tomorrow night with the infamous TJ. I'm not exactly sure what movie they're talking about. Do you? Or do you know? I'm talking about something. It's probably something new on the scene. Yeah. Don't screw up our feed looking at this crap. No, I mean, it's not crap. It's wonderful stuff. And one of these days, we're actually going to do a crossover between Diabolical Index and Heckles and Horror, where we're going to kind of transpose the movie version and the book version of something.
Indigenous is the movie that they're doing.
In what?
Indigenous.
Indigenous. He didn't do that last time?
Oh, that's what we did for this time. That was what we showed for this time.
Oh, I got it. See, he does this confusing thing where he tells you what he's doing. Like, they kind of show the preview for what they're doing next time, and it gets kind of confusing. But I think Indigenous is that like a Bigfoot story? I don't know. I think it's a creature. I think it's a creature feature.
It is.
I had seen it. I had heard it reviewed on Horror Business. Check out a Horror Business on Stitcher. It's a fantastic podcast about movies. They know what they're talking about, horror movies wise, and they're an affiliate of Cinepunks. So check them out. I totally endorse them. Apparently, what is it? Tripod. TRYPOD hashtag. It's coming to an end. But basically, you're supposed to try out a new podcast in your life during the month of March. And Horror Business was one I tried a little bit before March. So check that out. And also, what was that one that you told me to check out? It was kind of a joke on the name, Moistfully Yours or something like that. Moistly Yours, something like that. Damn, I can't remember what it was called now. Moistly Funny, or I don't know. They're making fun of me because of number 67, Pointless Discussions. I was interviewed and all kinds of weird stuff happened. So, where are we going? Are we speeding? Are we speeding?
Like I said, did we see the cop already in the storyline? I can't remember.
Not in this one. No, we haven't seen the chief. We haven't seen any police officers in this timeline yet.
She said if yes, go to speed limit. If no, go ahead, speed racer.
I see what she's saying. So she wants to instigate the terror. So speeding, go to 68. Stay on the straight and narrow speed limit, 59. What do we got so far? Andrew, my wonderful chronicler.
I'm gonna go with obviously speeding. So.
How many speedings do we have?
Just 2.
Just 2 speedings?
Yep.
Oh, man. I need to start getting some lemon drops down here or something. I'm losing my voice today.
Almost 2 hours already.
What?
1:45 is where you're at.
Oh, my God. And I thought we were moving faster. What in the heck?
We were on time, man. That's what it is, man.
So it's 11 o'clock?
It's 10:48.
Yikes. Okay, let's go speeding. I guess you better keep speeding, you tell Andrea. We gotta catch up to that truck. You got it, Andrea says. The high-powered car continues to hum along the curvy road as if it's riding on rails. You hardly know you were going 75 miles per hour. This is a sheltered kid. In the darkness, you glide past a farmhouse and 2 barns. Suddenly, you spot a car parked along the shoulder of the road. Uh-oh, you say. You turn and see that the car is pulling onto the road and speeding after you. See, Yelena was right on. If you hadn't met a cop yet, you're going to now. A second later, a siren begins to wail and the blue police lights flash on the car's roof. Andrea sighs. As she pulls the car off the road, she says to you, "It's okay, just a ticket. We'll be rolling again in 5 minutes." You watch the car pull to a stop behind you. You see the officer talking on his radio after a long minute. He steps out and approaches Andrea's car. But instead of coming over to the window, he steps back and puts his hand on the heel of his gun. "Open the door slowly, please," he tells Andrea. "You're under arrest." Turn to page 34. Oh, boy. Hook cam. This is some shady shit. Not really. I have been frisked before. Have you been frisked before, Andrew?
Yeah.
Andrew? What'd you do? Don't answer that.
Underage drinking.
Underage drinking. Underage drinking. I was wrongfully accused. I was actually taken out of the car and frisked because, at the time, I had long hair and dark clothes. So,
You were a hippie.
there you go. You and Andre get out of the car and lean against as a police officer checks you for weapons. "I'm an attorney, officer," Andrea says. "What's the charge?" "You're suspected in breaking and entering in Belleville Transport," the officer answers back curtly. He pulls your hands behind your back. You feel cold metal on your wrists as the handcuffs click shut. Because you're a juvenile, you're released later that night. Toward morning, Corey is found walking on a lonely road not far from Woodard's Mill. Ooh, that's kind of scary. Andrea Sorrell is held for 48 critical hours. The police say the district court judge is on vacation. Another judge can't be found to set bail. Andrea is furious but helpless. When she finally gets out, she calls the Vermont State Police and insists that the Belleville warehouse and Woodard's Mill be searched. The officer drives over but finds nothing. Frank Sorrell's body is never found. The end. Downsville.
Yeah.
Downsville.
We got a speed limit or?
Well, yeah, let's go to the speed limit. Do you remember what it was? 59? 58?
Yeah.
Let's play it safe and stick to the speed limit, you tell Andrea. Give us time to come up with a plan. All right, she says, and she eases the sports car down to 55. While the car hums along, you study the atlas map of Woodard's Mill. Devil's Ditch Road is a couple of miles outside the village, you say. Looks like a quiet location for a warehouse. That'd be a real plus if you were hiding something. Or someone, says Andrea. You nod. Here comes Route 74. The car swings easily into the right turn. You glance at Andrea. We can't just cruise up to the warehouse, you say. If they're there, they'll hear us coming. They might even have a lookout. I was just thinking that too, she says. I wonder if... Hey. What's that? She slows down and pulls to a quick stop just by the roadside. Just ahead in some bushes, you see a pale shape. It's moving. Is it some kind of... animal, Andrea's asks. Yeah, I don't know. It looks pretty big. You flick on your pen light and gasp. It's Corey! People often ask when I'm in bushes if I'm an animal or not. Oh my gosh. Okay. Book cam. What in the name of living daylights is happening here? I don't even want to... I don't even have a conjecture as what's happening right here.
Is that Corey or?
This is some craziness. I'm not sure. I didn't think he was... I don't know. I thought he was dressed in dark stuff too.
Well, he just look out. He could go in. So.
But they all went there in dark stuff, Andrew. Sheesh. Hey, man. I'm the lookout, so I better wear lighter clothing than you. Sheesh. You and Andrea jump out of the car and rush to untie the strips of burlap that blindfold you. Ew. That would suck. Blindfold your friend's face and bind his hands and feet. Corey blinks. I don't know how you found me, dude, he said hoarsely. But I'm sure glad you did. You got like a yoo-hoo or anything? Come on, you say, quick. The three of you hurry back to the car. Andrea starts the engine and steers back onto the road. How far ahead are they? She asks Corey. 5 minutes, Corey says from his perch in the tiny back seat. No more. Did you get a look at him? No. They grabbed me from behind and threw me in the back of the truck. Then they stopped to dump me in that bush. I think it was 2 guys. Did they say anything? Andrea asks. Yeah, says Corey quietly. When they were climbing back in the truck, I heard one of them say, let's go take care of the old guy. 92. Airbury. Here we go. Oh, no, wait. Oh, 92. Sorry. Andrea's hands clench the wheel. Dad, she whispers. Well, I guess that's not a whisper at all. Dad, she whispers. She stomps the gas pedal and the car rockets down the country road. You know, maybe these guys are dangerous, Corey says. Maybe we should find a payphone and call the state police. By the time the state cruisers get to the warehouse, that truck could be long gone. And my dad, she answers. Not if we can hold them up a while, you say. I've got an idea. Turn to page 44. Didn't we go to 44 once? It seems like we did. No, we didn't. No. Following your directions, Andrea pulls off at the culvert, where a stream passes beneath Devil's Ditch Road, about 40 yards below the warehouse. She leaves her engine running and her lights off. The dense woods all around make it impossible to see the warehouse from her car. You and Corey pick your way up the stream. The sound of running water covers your approach, as you make your way to a point where you can see both downstream to Andrea and upstream to the warehouse. Corey stays there. In his pocket is one of your pen lights. The other is in your... This is very thorough. The other is in your pocket along with your pocket knife. 10 minutes later, you're crawling up the bank of the stream. Peering over the edge, you see a low rectangular building of corrugated steel. The Belleville warehouse. A lone Belleville truck is backed up to the loading dock. A man is standing by the front bumper, peering up and down the road. You can hear someone moving around inside the warehouse. How on earth could you hear that?
Maybe they're just really loud.
Okay. Otherwise, there's only the gurgling sound of water in the stream behind you. You've got to pee, but you can't. This is action time. The man by the truck is watching the road. You don't know how much time you have. Got to move quickly. You creep over the edge of the bank, and with a few steps, you can make it to the back wall of the warehouse. Shotgun blasts! I wish. You inch along the... Oops. Book cam. Something crazy is going to happen. There's some stabbing. A tire, but still. Flat tires. Always the hobgoblin of small-time crooks. You inch along the wall until you're only a few feet from the rear of the truck. The guard is on the other side. You quietly lower yourself to the ground, crawl to the truck, and slide beneath it. This kid is like a secret agent. On your belly beneath the rear wheels, you can see the guard's feet. You pull out your pen light and aim it downstream, flashing at once. Corey's waiting for your signal. The second he sees it, he's supposed to turn away from the warehouse, point his light toward Andrea, and flash it once, his body shielding the signal from the lookout's view. This is a military operation. A second later, you hear a car approaching. The sound of the powerful engine grows louder, and the guard's feet move as he turns to watch. You draw your pocket knife and unfold the blade. As Andrea's car roars by, you plunge the knife into the side wall of the truck's left rear tire. The sound of the car's engine covers the hissing escape of air. Meanwhile, Andrea has turned the car and accelerating back down the road. The lookout rushes inside just before the car zooms past. You know she's on her way to the nearby village to call the police. You turn and crawl to the edge of the truck. You're about to break for the stream when the warehouse door is flung open and 2 men come out, dragging a third man who's bound and gagged. You freeze. It must be Frank Sorrell. Aw, snap. Frank Sorrell's bound feet scrape on the ground. I did that before. There was a kid who broke a glass table at a party and I drug him down the steps.
Jesus.
He was being a real asshole to the hostesses of the party. He called them every name in the book. He was really drunk. And so I dragged him down the steps and threw him in the back of his friend's car. Apparently the top of his feet were totally ripped up. So Frank Sorrell's feet are not feeling too good. Sorrell stands up. He's alive. The men have Sorrel into the truck. You hold your breath. What do they notice? A flat tire now. Sorrel's body tumbles onto the metal floor just above you. The kidnappers haul down the back gate and rush towards the cab. Hey, it could have been a local hot rodder, says one. That was a foreign sports car, the other replies. It was no local. Let's roll. The truck's engine roars to life. It clunks into gear and lunges forward, clanking and jerking on its airless tires. I guess he popped every one of them. You've got to move, even though they might see you. Exposed, you hunch over and run to the building back wall. You press your back tightly against the wall as the truck stops. The doors open, and the two men leap out. Dashing to the rear, the men curse. What a time for this to happen, says one. Let's just change it fast, the other says. Barely daring to breathe, you stay flat against the building. Just 6 feet away, the two men work feverishly to change the tire. What if they notice the tire has been deliberately cut and decide to search the lot? Then you're dead, sucker. Changing a truck's tire is hard work. It takes the two men at least... Oh my God. It takes the two men at least 15 minutes. What? To you, flying against the building a few feet away, it seems like half the night. You wonder if Andrea has found a phone. Somewhere nearby in the woods, Corey is waiting, just as helpless as you are. Finally, the job is finished. The men fling the old tire aside, jump back into the cab, and pull out on the Devil's Ditch Road. Your body sags. They're gonna make it. After all of that. The truck starts down the road. Stepping out after it, you flash your light towards Corey. Peering into the woods, you see his answering flash. Then you see another. A different kind of light altogether. The flashing blue light of a Vermont State Trooper. It's coming up Devil's Ditch Road, heading straight towards the Belleville truck. A siren goes on, and you whoop for joy. You did it! The end. Andrea's fine. Corey's fine. You're fine. Frank's fine.
Is their dad in there?
He's alive. And, Kale didn't do a damn thing. She was left behind in the dust.
She didn't have any...
Not in this timeline. She wasn't even involved. So, maybe in this timeline, Corey and Jimmy, maybe an item? Never know. Things happen in the 90s. I've seen Party Monster. So, anyway, that was Choose Your Own Adventure. I'm sure that there were a couple more things in there, but we're running pretty long on this one. So, which blows my mind. I'm totally...
hours.
That blows my mind. Scene of the crime, book cam? Or is it up there already? Still?
I took it up. But yeah, I can throw it up.
Yeah, throw it up. Scene of the crime, number 137, Choose Your Own Adventure by Doug Wilhelm. I have a sinking feeling that Doug Wilhelm didn't write a whole lot more of these because old Doug, you got to keep it short and sweet for the younger population, buddy. I have a feeling that there were a lot of kids who just turned away. I don't know. I'm doubtful that a lot of the kids even understood what was going on, and most of the time there was a lot of big words in there. So I don't know. I had fun just because I have fun doing this. But anyway, yeah, Diabolical Index stickers. Come and get them while they're hot. I got about 250 of them, so there ought to be enough for all of your conveyances and your trapper keepers, laptops. I've seen people put my shop ones on the back of their phones and everything, so you can put them anywhere. And they're really tough. I recommend to go to stickerguy.com. They're totally fantastic over there. Really good work. I've never had anything that come out any different than the stuff that I put in there and send over. So they're really, really nice. They're really tough. And you can even see the wand, huh?
Do a book cam of it?
Yeah, let's do a book cam of it. You can even see the little wand in the squirrel's hand, which I thought was way too faint to see. So these turn out totally wonderful. And so anyone who wants one or two or 5 or 10, just let me know. And if you want 10, I'd appreciate a self-addressed stamped envelope or something, but just let me know. But yeah, that was the Diabolical Index for Monday, March 26th. So let's see. Heckles and Horror tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We have a little bit of a sparse schedule this week on the Magic Scroll Network, but things are happening. Sometimes there are impediments to moving forward, but there might be some new things coming The Deplorables, if you haven't heard of that, it's because it's been kind of on the down low, but keep your eye open for that. It's going to be something.
Why don't you bring some to when you go recording tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to... Oh, is he asking?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to be dumb and do what I did last time, so I'm just going to say yes. I'll bring a few. But, yeah, Heckles and Horror and Neo Rage on Friday night. Is that right? Late night... What's it called? Late night vintage? Classic. Late night classic. And what did he take on this last time? I was hoping he would go for like Dig Dug or something, but I think is he still on Final Fantasy? Although he did Parappa the Rappa the other day, and I'm really sorry that I missed that live because Parappa the Rappa, that was that was a lot of fun. I remember doing that a lot in various states of inebriation. So
Elena said she's regretting her enthusiasm for this one. I give it 3 garbage trucks and a drive-by.
Whoa, Elena gives this 3 garbage trucks and a drive-by. Hopefully she means the book itself and not my performance. Not exactly sure why Andrea had that weird Tourette's thing that she was doing, but it was a lot of fun. So, Diabolical Index, Beware Your Human Heart, and thank you very much for tuning in, as always. This is the 4th non-entry, and next week, on Monday night, I will be presenting my take on 2 books that will deal with invasion and from within and from without. And I'll let you know what they are later on next week, just to, keep that suspense up. What could that possibly be? Invasion from within and invasion from without. It's a slight stretch, I guess, but I was trying to think of something that contrasted and paralleled with them. So there you go. You'll see what I mean. Maybe. But as always, this is a Diabolical Index and Magic Squirrel Network. Keep it squirrely.